Prism IO next week. But anyway, okay, without further delay, let me introduce Dr. Well, I don't think I need to introduce you, right, Joe? Everybody knows you. Hey,
Okay. All right. No need.
no need, right? Well, okay, put it this way. Dr. Joe Chang is he's Chinese, believe it or not. I think
Fake.
he's a frustrated comedian. He can speak very entertainingly, okay? But anyway, and he's very good in explaining very complex scientific principles in very simple terms. Even simple lawyers like me can understand. Okay, so all right, what we will talk about tonight is the new Prism IO device that will come out later on this year. Okay, I have a feeling that there'll be hockey pucks, ice hockey pucks will be sold very well this year, right, in anticipation of the Prism IO. So without further ado, Dr. Joe, would
Yeah,
you?
sure. Thanks, Pat. Yeah, good evening to everybody. Some of you, I notice, haven't seen you for a long time, even on a Zoom call. Welcome back. Or once again, we have a chance to meet. That's great. Some of the folks are maybe a bit more recent. That's also great. So actually, you're likely to be the first group that I've spoken to about this particular device that we are now calling Prism IO, okay? And I'll short form it to PSIO. But even with listening to Pat introducing all the products that we have launched, right, over the last few years and so on, I've always sort of taken the tack, okay, I'll just explain and describe the product to you and see how we developed it and what sort of claims and benefits you can get from the product. And it's great. We have lots of products. But to be honest with you, I think sometimes we launch new products so quickly and so often that some of you may actually be confused more than anything else, right? In terms of how these products actually form a fabric, if you will, a narrative, a consistent narrative that you can use to build your business. Because at the end of the day, you're really looking at building a business. And what we have found over the last few years, perhaps, I mean, in my opinion, maybe that confusion has led to a lot of us losing our way, what Nu Skin is all about and what the business is all about. And every new product is considered to be a new business, and it's sort of spike, if you will, in terms of sales and so on, because they're all great products. But at the end of the day, the overall growth of the company, i.e., as defined by revenue, it hasn't grown. 1 + 1 remains 1. And that's sort of perhaps in a way, I would admit that perhaps it's our fault, i.e., in a company, insofar as not really making sure that a new product is meant to grow your business. It's not meant to really just maintain your business. All right. Because eventually that's not going to happen, even at the maintenance level. So tonight, I thought it might be good that what you're seeing with this new Prism is really a tip of a spear that is introducing a new enabling platform. It's almost like a ground floor opportunity again, if you will, that brings all the different types of new products we have done and so on into one happy family. There should not be any confusion, you know, because it's almost like an anchor. It anchors this new opportunity that we have created in Nu Skin, right? because the way that it is, all of you, have to be successful, and even especially for this particular group, you're all executives and so on. It is about the growth of your organization and so on, right? And that's the only way to really get more customers at the end of the day. Getting customers perhaps is not the means to an end. It's great, you must have that. But really, what we find in the world of Nu Skin is the fact that we need more executives like you, right? The ones that who are interested in growing a business. And I believe that this scanner, this new PSIO, allows us to present you with a narrative that is different, all right? And that actually, at the end of the day, really, you can tell people that Nu Skin is truly the only integrated beauty and wellness company. And depending on your passion, once again, right, if you're not comfortable talking about Pharmanex, this is not a Pharmanex story. Okay, this is not a Nu Skin story. It is Nu Skin as in the personal care. It is both. It can drive. You don't have to, recreate what you're already good at insofar as talking about the products. Use that. But the scanner is really, at the end of the day, a device that help you break open the door for a person interested in health, or beauty and wellness, because it is a nutritional monitor and the skin is part and parcel of the body. So with that introduction, I'm hoping to say what you're listening, I haven't quite articulated this perspective, if you will, right? But it's time. This is not your mother's scanner. Many of you, if not all of you, are familiar with the biophotonic scanner. And I'll go into that a little bit to explain how that scanner has helped us get to this stage with Prism IO. So let me share some slides with you, and perhaps that will help to. Sharing is not turned on. Whoever is controlling it will allow me to share or not. Pat?
I might have to make you co-host, Joe. Hold on. Okay.
Okay.
Or you can just click multiple
Yeah,
sharing.
Pat, you have to make, yes. I don't have that.
Well, I had you on. Okay, here. I almost found you. Make co-host. All right, you're co-host, Joe.
I'm co-host, so I can share, right? Okay.
Yes.
Let's
Can you
see what
share
I can
screen now?
bring up. Okay. I think so. Can you see my slides now? Pat, can you see my slides? Or was that Shirley who was speaking?
Yes.
Can you see my slides?
Yeah.
You can,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Okay.
All right. Good. So really, in a way, this PSIO is introducing a brand new Nu Skin, if you will. This truly is telling a new story, a bigger story about the business of Nu Skin. Okay, it's not about a new product. This device is the launch or the springboard of a new platform, whatever you want to call it, is an enabling technology and platform that can be the foundational and enduring platform opportunity in Nu Skin, right? If I'm starting a company, and Pharmanex obviously was one of them, I never look at Pharmanex and say, oh, they're making tea green. Oh, they're very good at making collagen, whatever it is. What we found in Pharmanex was a technology or a platform that we could really convert natural products, including traditional Chinese herbs and so on and so forth, and convert them to truly meaningful products via the success process. That's really what Pharmanex was all about, okay? It's not about one single product. It's about the platform we have created. Well, sometimes we use the word engine and so on and so forth. And that has taken Nu Skin to the next level, right? When we came in 1998. I think this particular device that we have is again that introduction or the launch of a brand new opportunity that should make, if you will, Nu Skin become a hockey stick in terms of growth. All right, so remember that. And why do I say that? I mean, all of you, as I mentioned, you are familiar with the original biophotonic scanner on the left, right? And then we launched a second version. We called it S2. We improved it. We made it smaller. It can scan quicker. And then we landed on S3 on the right, which is the latest version. And some of you may have used it. Some of you may have been scanned on it and so on and so forth, right? That's what it is. But I look upon that evolution of that biophotonic scanner similar to the flip phone. Many of you remember, right? Many years ago, once upon a time in Blue Moon, you had that flip phone launched by Motorola. That was the greatest thing since sliced bread when it came out. But it wasn't smart. All they did was to make a landline portable, right? And connect it to some cell tower or whatever, so you can bring it all over the place. It was very good. It was a breakthrough, if you will, at that point in time. And then they improve upon the design, and you got the one in the middle. It became smaller. It's easier to use. You know, the reception may be better, and so on and so forth. But it still wasn't smart, right? And then they made it even prettier on the one all the way to the right, the pink one, and they added onto a screen. You think the screen would do anything, but all it did was the screen was to show you who you're calling, perhaps somebody calling you. If you have that person on the phone, on your directory, his name or her name would come up. But fundamentally, there was just incremental improvement in the basic technology. The real breakthrough that came in was the development of the smartphone. And the latest one is the one all the way to the right top. That's iPhone 16. Right? And even when the iPhone came out several generations ago, even then it was a smartphone. It wasn't a flip phone, because it started to be able to allow you to connect to the web. It became more than just a phone. It became your life in a way, if you will, right? You can do literally now anything that you want on your phone: banking, shopping, paying somebody, whatever. None of those things were available. You had the internet. None of these things were available through the flip phone. And I think that's where we are right now with this thing that I put on the palm of the hand, the so-called PSIO. It's not the biophotonic scanner anymore. All right. It has evolved. It has evolved into something what we call an intelligent beauty and wellness device. All right. This is what it looks like. It literally, if you're a Canadian, you'll probably say, oh, that looks like a puck. Yeah, most likely, I think you can call it a puck too. Sometimes I accidentally or inadvertently will call it a puck, but fundamentally, that's the PSIO, right? And there's a color range on top of it, and so on and so forth. So it's visually very attractive and appealing, but more importantly to me, right, there are certain business aspects that we learn from the biophotonic scanner that has metamorphosized or transformed this technology or this device into something that we think we can build a platform on, okay? One of them is obviously, I mean, realistically speaking, was the price structure on the biophotonic scanner. We could never overcome that. But with over more than 10 years of research and really throwing all kinds of ideas at it and so on, we have now arrived and developed a technology that makes this particular scanner way more affordable for literally everybody. All right. So that we have overcome that particular hurdle. The second hurdle is the fact that the previous scanner required a lot of technical support, if you will, right? But with this one, we have substantively and meaningfully improved its reproducibility, its accuracy, and so on, that there's very little technical support needed. So it's very user-friendly. Yeah. What's the point of having something really great, but we have to keep on fixing the glitches? You know, it's not going to work. So we have overcome those hurdles. And that's not all. While you have that portable puck, we also have the ability to dock this smart device onto a docking station, and I briefly show it here. This is right now a graphic schematic or representation of what we have. The final version may even look even better than this, but nonetheless, you know, you can dock it onto this docking station, like I said, and once it's connected either to an iPad or an iPhone, it will bring up or give you even more information. It literally will duplicate what that smartphone can do now. Okay, it's sort of analogous to that. All kinds of data will come up, both on the benefits, the health benefits and skin benefits of products and so on and so forth. But it has also the ability to monitor your customers, if you will, you know, kind of thing, and be able to sort of have a good counsel or advice and recommendations for your customers going forward. All right. And eventually, the reason why we have this docking station and so on, while we are not quite there yet, and why I keep on emphasizing this is just the beginning. This is the tip of the spear. There are other things that we can measure with this new technology that is more than just the antioxidant carotenoid that the biophotonic scanner is able to do right now, right? It broadens the applicability and literally, I mean, that's why it becomes a device that is, in a way, I'm hoping all of you realize after today that it's not just a scanner. It's not an antioxidant scanner anymore, if you will, right? That's what the biophotonic scanner is and was. What this has evolved to is actually a nutritional health monitor, okay? And it's intelligent. And over time, as we bring on more things and more things we can measure with this device, it's going to be more and more intelligent. Because after all, you know, if you are going to have a device that's AI driven, and when we talk about machine learning or language and so on, they got to be fed, they got to be trained in a way, right? I mean, that's what the computer guys say. You know, I have to train my algorithm. What does that mean? The only way you can train it is to have more data and newer data and different kinds of data. And that's what we have brought. One of the things that competitors will not be able to do or will not be able to duplicate this particular PSIO is the fact that they never had that 10 years worth of the biophotonic scanner data that we have done. We have over 25 million scans on that. That's a database. And it's critical that we use that particular database to help train this PSIO, okay? That is something that no competitor can do because it took us more than 10 years to get those scans, right? And once again, it's hard to compete. Literally, you got to repeat the 10 years worth of data We're certainly not going to share it with everybody. So that's why it's intelligent. I already mentioned this is a nutritional monitor. Okay, it's not an antioxidant scanner per se. It is, you know, you can still call it that, but I'm hoping that really what it is nutritional health monitor. And here's why. You know, I've been taught by all of you, if anybody else, that one of the most common questions I get, especially from the scientific side, I can't say all this science in a lift. In some of the countries, in the US, we would call it that elevator, right? So how I'm going to explain this in less than a minute? Well, for intents and purposes, the previous biophotonic scanner asked a very simple question. And that was, how do you know your supplements work, right? It's still a matter of faith, you know, and so on and so forth. But the biophotonic scanner makes it visible, the changes and improvements that you can see, right? And that's how you can make sure that you know your supplements are working. Here, we've taken it to an entirely new level and asked a question, a similar question, but a way more meaningful question that I think everybody would be intrigued. And that is, do you really know your nutritional health? That's the question this nutritional device is answering, all right? Because the way that the narrative is now built on that particular umbrella, then you can see, right? There are all sorts of things. As a second question, you can answer any of those questions down there in those categories. Whether it's a LumiSpark question or whether it's skin health and so on, whether it's Mind 360, brain health, you know, and so on and so forth. You don't have to deviate from that. You don't have to sort of, you know, take a right angle turn and totally whiplash your neck and tell a new narrative. This one, we bring it all together. I'm hoping you're beginning to see, you know, this vision that we're building for the Prism IO is a nutritional monitor. It covers a lot, and very soon we will also add, you know, the beauty health too, skin health into this device. That's the future. That's the potential. It's not a one-trick pony. You know, it will keep on being more and more sophisticated in that sense. So that's the narrative. It's simply put, you know, one single narrative. It really doesn't matter. I mean, the US may tell a slightly different story because of the, you know, kind of new biome, whatever it is, Southeast Asia and Hong Kong or Greater China or whatever. You have the Tiami story. You can tell that, no problem. You know, the scanner just inserts it right in, but it broadens it. It's not just about weight management. It is about nutritional health, because that's the end, right, of anything. Whether it's weight loss, whether it's eye health, whether it's brain health, you're about building, you're about nourishing your body, so that's what our products do, so that you can avoid or delay some of these aging symptoms, if you will. Okay. And by the way, right, I know all of you have heard us say that we are an anti-aging company. I want you to also perhaps stop a little bit and think, because there is a certain demographic, especially the young demographic, anti-aging may be quite alien to them, insofar as they're not quite there yet. They still think they're going to live forever, and they still think they're the masters or mistresses of the universe. They're never, ever going to die. Okay? However, anti-aging, if I use another term to describe it, is really about youth preservation, isn't it? Now, if I used youth preservation, I would imagine the young demographic group would be equally enthralled and be somewhat interested in this particular Prism IO as well. Okay, so that's what it is. It's a nutritional monitor. And like I mentioned, really, it's to answer this question: do you know your nutritional health? Who doesn't want to know, right? This is what New Skin is all about. We're not a drug company. Drug companies treat diseases. We are more interested in New Skin about nourishing the body, right? And you can only nourish the body if you have great nutritional health. And when you think about it, with great nutritional health, you have nourished the body, and that's why the body can heal itself. It's not about treating a disease. It's about this holistic approach. You know, the Asians will talk about the qi, the holistic approach. They talk about that, right? Philosophically and so on. It's one and the same thing. They're talking about nourishment too, all right? So that's what integrative medicine, whatever it is also another term to really talk about, you know, healing of the body. So I already mentioned the antioxidants and how that is important. That remains part and parcel of the story and so on. But I'm hoping, you know, if it's not a been there, done that. If that's not an old story. I'm saying this story actually has reached the level of smartphone, and therefore it has the incredible potential of creating a brand new company, right? Or a business opportunity, if you will. So this is the history of the scanner and so on. And obviously you can see, right, with all these milestones that we have hit and so on and so forth, we would not have been able to bring out the Prism IO. It would have been impossible. I mean, that's why we spent collectively over the last whatever, ever since Pharmanex or whatever it is, you know, over billions of dollars worth of research and investment just to be able to get data and not just wish that it can happen and turn a sort of an imagination into something and say, oh, well, we've got it. Well, we've got it based on data. And that's what the science, if you will, or the success process or whatever we have, that's what it brings it here too. They're connected. You know, it's not siloed. They're not different stories. These stories have all they have all connecting fibers to each other. One thing leads to another. And when we talk about nutritional health, right? I'm hoping some of you may have remembered when this book was written and so on and so forth, we never talk about, or at least we try not to say, I'm going to help you live longer. Okay. We have always talked about, I'm going to help you live younger or better longer. Just one word, and it changes the whole conversation. That's not about living longer, it's about living better longer, which means quality of life. And that's what nutritional health is all about as well. And that's why, you know, it's so important. This is the first time ever. I mean, you know, we can, in a way, I think some of you might be aware of this term. This is the first time that a company has developed a technology that can biohack the body systemically and not just a certain organ or whatever. And it's because of all these things that we can measure and be able to see. You know, it's almost like a telescope, the Prism IO, that can peer into the body and see what's happening there. And then we can design much better products going forward too. So this is the platform, and these are, you know, the things that are revolving around it and so on. They're all connected. It's a solar system, if you want to consider that. All right. And we have by now identified and truly, hopefully, clarify what the sun is. And there's the Prism IO. You know, 40 years, so on. I mean, New Skin has always been that. And we've grown big. right? But over the last few years, I think some of you may have also sort of seen it or felt it like us and so on, that somewhat our growth is not at a level that we want it to be. You know, it's frankly, the company is, like it or not, I mean, I've always said this, it's your company. You don't grow, we don't grow, or the company doesn't grow. And this scanner, if you can see the vision, okay, if you can see the vision of the scanner and so on, this Prism IO, then you can see it's a platform. You can use that as a springboard to renew your business. If you already have a fairly successful business or vibrant business, you can grow it to a next level. It's not meant, this thing is not meant to just help you maintain, right? I mentioned to you on the left, this Raman database, 25 million. This database is critical to drive our AI engine in Prism IO, all right? To give you what is happening on the right. Without the left, the right doesn't work. You get all kinds of noise, and you cannot sense what is the real information from the readout, from the Prism IO. You scan the world, right? This is everybody, and so on. And I already alluded to the fact, because it's so affordable, at the end of the day, you know, it's sort of once we get through our manufacturing hiccups, and there are always going to be hiccups when you make a new device or unit on the manufacturing line. Once we sort of smooth that out and tweak it and so on, by next year, we should have enough for everybody to have one and so on, right? But you cannot wait. I mean, like I say, it's the narrative that you're telling here, that you are able, if you're talking to a new person, say, would you like to be a sort of a person who can actually help another new individual to understand nutritional health, right? I think that's how hopefully that will translate until we have more and more scanners out. So, and it's not just a thing that we have, or a marker or a value or whatever you call it, that comes out from the PSIO and it doesn't have a solution. You know, it is tip of the spear. Once you pry open and when you discover something, the whole range, now you can see, right? Any of these products that you're familiar with, or some of them you're more familiar than others, it's fine. You know, the scanner fits right in. You can help. We have a lot of products, both from the skin category and from the nutrition category, that are absolutely compatible with the PSIO. It's like I say, it's an anchor. You know, it's a sun. It's a center of gravity. It pulls everything together. You don't need to worry, oh, I'm whiplash here, whiplash there. It's never meant to be that. But sometimes I can see how it can be, especially for the newer people and so on. But your narrative is the same. Okay. So I'll end with some of these questions. We are preparing these facts, and I thought I might as well share this when we launch it. Would be fact, you know, we'll describe what the Prism IO is. Fundamentally, is an intelligent, you know, beauty and wellness nutritional health monitor. Fundamentally, what makes the IO unique is the fact that the technology doesn't work on its own. It requires training, computer training I'm talking about, and that is, the training cannot occur if you don't have the database that we got from the S3, or what we call the biophotonic Raman scanner. All right. How is Prism IO different from the S3? It's different. The technology is entirely different. All right. It still measures, however, the antioxidants, the carotenoids, but the technology, we can use light and diffract it, or yeah, I think it's refract it. That's the word. Refract it to different wavelengths, technically, and we'll be able to measure other things very soon, right? I already mentioned the products. Literally, the whole new skin portfolio can be somewhat paired with the IO, right? Launching time, as Pat has mentioned, it's going to be closer to July, second half of this year. And at the very beginning, I think there's a qualification period in order to get one. So they're working out the details of that because we don't have enough to give everybody yet. But it doesn't mean the person who doesn't get it should not start building now. You know, it will help towards the qualification early next year. So yeah, the preview, I guess we can do a demo and all kinds of things once the different markets have some of it and so on. But a personal demo, you most likely would have to come to the office or so on, and be able to see how it works. So it's very simple. I think the current S3, it takes about 60 seconds. I think we're down to 30 seconds with this PSIO. So it's very fast, all right? And the data can be stored, and then once you dock it, the data can be uploaded to the iPad or iPhone or whatever, you know, to the overall database. So okay, yeah, and we've done all the clinical studies and so on. This is just to show you the value we can get versus somebody who has not taken any of our products, and over a period of 12 weeks, we can see a gradual increase in the nutritional health score or the wellness score or whatever we're going to call it. And on the marketing side, this is a huge market, right? When you have something like that that can show somebody interested, I mean, the reason why it's 1 trillion is obviously a lot of people are interested in beauty and wellness. Now, if you, especially on the wellness side, you know, when you can show somebody how they are progressing, there must be a lot of interest along those lines. Okay, I think I've done with the formal presentation. I'll stop the